Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to our channel, and today's video on moving up in Maslow's hierarchy from the belonging and being loved level into the self-esteem, self-regard level. If you are somebody who feels like they need to fit into a box, achieve a certain threshold, achieve something to be good enough, then this is the video for you. Let's get into it. So it's largely safe to say that for any of us who are able to watch this video on a platform like this, then we have likely satisfied most of our physiological and then safety needs on the first two levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, after physiological and then safety, the next level is belonging and love. The level after that is esteem. Now, I think it's very natural for a lot of us to hang out in that love and esteem level for most of our 20s, but a lot of us get stuck into it into our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 100. It's very easy to get stuck at this level in our life. And I think that starts in the point of school, where we develop this idea really that there's a right answer and a wrong answer, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, there's good jobs that are meaningful and contribute to the world and make you a good, respectable person. And then there are jobs that apparently don't. And in a society like our modern day society, we are very career focused. So what happens here is we tie up our career and our identity. We tie up our career with our self-esteem and worthiness, our lovability and whether or not we belong. And this is why we get stuck at the level of love and belonging. And we stay in careers and in relationships and in situations that don't actually bring out our best self and don't progress us up into that self-actualization level where we are truly maximally contributing to the world. So I can definitely identify this in my life, where I went to med school thinking that if I did med school, if I learnt those skills and if I started to work as a doctor and learnt those skills, that the work that I would be doing in the world would make me feel good about myself, that doing that stuff, having those skills, making that contribution would then come back and give me self-esteem. It would give me a reason to have regard for myself and think that I am a good enough person, to think that my life and me as a person are worthy. So in my late teens, early 20s, I put my head down and I thought I had it all figured out. If I just did this work, if I just followed this path, if I just showed up as a doctor each day to work and did the work of being a doctor, that would create my own self-esteem and self-regard, that I would be able to feel good about myself and like myself because I was making this contribution. Now, if you've had experience coaching, then you will likely see this problem loud and clear. I was trying to change my circumstances to change my thoughts about myself, and that never works. However, I think this is a common thought error for so many of us because it is by and large how we are orientated and directed at school. The message from school can come across as, if you can just fit into this box and reach this threshold, then you are good enough, then you are A+, then you are going to go and do good things in the world. You will live a great life. So in my mind, I was ticking all the boxes. I was showing up to work, I was working hard, I was doing the best job that I could with the resources that I had, and still there was this discrepancy. Still, I did not suddenly have my self-regard, self-esteem fulfilled because of the work that I was doing. And it wasn't until I had coaching that I could recognize that no matter how much I achieved, no matter how much I did, no matter how hard I worked, or what results I created for my patients or with my colleagues, with my team, that work was not going to get me to the level of self-esteem. This would not move me from the belonging, being loved level over to esteem. The self-esteem, the self-regard precedes the contribution that you make. Let me show you how to identify this in your life. So if you are somebody who feels like you are striving and holding off your life, waiting until you meet a certain standard, or have a certain career title, or even have a certain relationship status to be able to feel accepted and good enough, this is very common for perfectionists, and please do not feel guilty if this is the way that your mind is seeing things right now. But just recognize if your life is largely directed at all your priorities, your energies, your resources are directed at you fitting into a certain box, ticking certain boxes, meeting certain standards, then you're likely in that level of needing loving and belonging. Now, to get to this next level of esteem, self-regard is what is needed first. You will know that you're at this level when you start being more focused on yourself instead of being focused on being good enough. I really want you to hear that. Most of us have this elusive idea of what is good enough, and we hold ourselves to certain standards that aren't standards that were built by ourselves or agreed upon or reasoned by ourselves. But instead, these are expectations that come from this general societal perspective, this way that we've been socialized. A person who is at the esteem level in Maslow's hierarchy of need will be turning to themselves. They will be asking for their own opinion. They will be forming their own opinion of what is right. They will be looking at their own strengths and weaknesses, not just perfectionistically looking at their gaps that they have to fill, their weaknesses, but they will be looking at their strengths as well and looking forwards as to how those strengths and weaknesses in combination can maximally contribute to the world from scratch, not from which box can I fit into here to be loved and accepted and belong and be labeled as good enough, but instead looking at themselves as an individual and saying, what have I got? What can I do for the world here? What can I give to the world here? How can I advance myself as well? What more can I do with my strengths and what more can I do with my weaknesses? And they will not care about a box. They will not care if that job title does not exist yet. They will know what the value is that they want to contribute to the world because they will be looking at and valuing themselves. And lots of us don't want to do that work because we think that it will automatically make us arrogant or conceited. But on the contrary, being able to recognize your values, being able to have self-esteem and self-regard means that you get to maximize your strengths, take everything that you've got and then go and give that back to the world. This is the most generous thing that you can do. This person who's at the esteem level will recognize that with their unique strengths and weaknesses, the most useful thing is not try to fit their circle into the square because some bits will get cut off if they try and put themselves in one of these boxes. And that means they're not maximally contributing. If we're cutting off the edges to make them fit, we're missing out on some pieces of them that could do good in the world. So please be gracious and forgiving of yourself if you are still driven predominantly towards fitting into a box so that you can think that you're good enough, so that you can think that you belong, and so that you can think that you're deserving of love. This is, after all, one of our human needs to feel accepted and belong. But start to take the time to ask yourself those bigger questions. Recognizing the value of each individual human means that you also need to be able to recognize the value of yourself, your unique strengths. We think that the world is changed by brilliant, smart people who get the best marks in school and so on and so forth. But those people who are getting excellent marks in school or whatever your next level of education is, those people are fitting in the current system. To change the current system, we need people who are different. We need people who don't already fit into the box, into the system. Those people who are doing the same, who are replicating what's been done before and perfectly fitting into what's been done before, are not the people who are going to change and improve the world. And if you're brave enough to move up to that esteem level, you have the opportunity to change the world. Now, I have 2 points that I want to leave you with. The first one, it sounds wonderful to be in this esteem level, but the truth is we still have that need for belonging and being accepted and that wanting to be loved. And as you move to the esteem level, you do give up. As you become less of the norm, you will be less accepted and less loved by the masses. There'll be more people that question and disagree with you at this level. So be prepared for it to not necessarily feel like sunshine and rainbows. And don't make it mean something bad when it doesn't feel good, because that'll have you turn around and go back to the level that you're at before. And that's normal. Just be aware of it so that you don't automatically react to it. Now, finally, I want to leave you with this question. If you feel like you're stuck on this level, but you really you're sort of tinkering on moving up to the esteem level, my question is, would you rather be loved and accepted by many, but superficially? For somebody who is not you entirely, for somebody who's muted, for somebody who's been adjusted to fit into this box of the norm? Or would you rather be loved by a few, but be loved for the full expression of who you are, everything that you are, in all your strengths and all your weaknesses, in all of your brave attempts to make the world a different, better place? Which one is more attractive to you? If you find these questions challenging in a good way and you feel like you're stuck over in this belonging, loved level, come along, coach you with me, and we'll help jump you over to the esteem level. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next one.